Good morning again, everybody. Hydrostor is pleased to be sponsor again of this year's event. I believe this is our 4th year running in sponsoring, and I appreciate everybody's perseverance in sticking with us throughout these fun-filled years. I would like to thank Richard and his staff for putting together another fantastic event. Every year is better, and great job, Richard. We've talked a lot about load growth today, and I wanted to frame that for the folks here in a little more understandable context of what that really means and what we're up against going forward to meet that load growth. I commemorated 40 years this year in the power industry, and that has been an incredibly dynamic 4 decades for our industry, from technological developments to all these intermittent renewables being added to the grid, storage, things that we hadn't even dreamed of back in the 80s and 90s. Now we're living with and implementing on large scales. One of the few constants over the past 40, 50 years in the U.S. has been that our load growth has been virtually flat for the last 50 years, in spite of all the electronic devices, internet, EVs, everything that's evolved. From a national perspective, our load growth has averaged between -1% to +2% a year. And as we've heard today, that's about to change. I do have a chart here. This is actually for the global electricity consumption, but the U.S. mirrors this curve quite closely. Again, very flat historically, and then taking off with the advent of AI and other electronic demand on the grid. These forecasts typically range from 4 to 7% of growth over our installed capacity today. Now, what does that mean compared to where we are? The U.S. electrical grid hit a new peak in July of this year, about 760,000 megawatts. So if we add 5–6% annually to that number, that equates to between 75 and 100 Willow Rock-sized projects every year being added to the national grid. It's almost 2 Willow Rock-sized projects every week, indefinitely. That capacity is only going to address the load growth. It doesn't address the retirements of existing capacity that's currently operating. It doesn't address the transmission investment. Just adding that new capacity to meet load growth on the generation side equates to an investment nationally of about $200 billion each and every year just to address load growth. So we have a big job ahead of us. Again, we've been at this for about 5 years for one project, Willow Rock. We're going to need another 5 years to build it. But I do want folks to realize we have a huge challenge ahead of us. It's going to require a lot of human capital, financial capital, and creativity to meet this load growth. It's something that nobody in this room has ever experienced. It's an exciting time. It's a challenging time, but we're going to need everybody to roll up their sleeves and get to work to help keep the lights on. Did want to mention a few highlights again about our Willow Rock project. We are located just north of Rosamond off of Highway 14 and Dawn Road. This will be a 500 megawatt, 8-hour storage facility. Next slide, please. What we really recognize for a successful project, we really view it as 3 legs to the stool, and all those legs need to be successful. One is the project needs to provide economic benefits to the region. Again, we are investing in excess of $1.5 billion. We'll talk about the jobs created a little bit later as well, but it is a significant benefit for the region. We expect the project to generate over $500 million in direct and indirect economic benefits to the region over its lifespan. And again, we do pay property taxes. We are expecting to pay in excess of $15 million a year to Kern County in property taxes. The second leg to that stool is environmental benefits. The project, we do not consume water in our process. We actually manufacture water out of thin air. When we compress ambient air, we extract the fresh water, and we will have a freshwater net positive balance at the end of the year. We also do not have any greenhouse gas emissions. We don't burn natural gas, and we occupy a very small footprint for 500 megawatts of capacity, again, well under 100 acres of footprint. The last leg to the stool is community benefits. We've recognized that in order to be successful over our 50-year commercial lifetime, we need to be respected and an active participant in our host community. We've been very active in reaching out and understanding and help meet some of the needs of our East Kern communities, and we're proud to have earned their support throughout this process. Some of the jobs that we will be creating, we expect a total workforce over the construction life cycle in excess of 6,000 employees. It's going to be a busy site. You're going to see about half those workers on the surface building our surface facilities, and the other half will be underground building our cavern, and you won't see them quite as much, but they'll be quite busy as well. When we go operational in 2030, we expect to have at least 40 full-time family wage positions created from this facility. And again, we talked about the regional benefits as well. So with those three legs to the stool firmly established underneath us, we believe we're well positioned. I had to tear up my notes because I was going to get up here and talk about the CEC and how difficult and challenging and slow they are to work with, but with our decision out last night, I had to tear those notes up and start from scratch. So the CEC is great. We've enjoyed working with them, and you can tell your elected officials in Sacramento we love the Energy Commission. So with that, I would like to turn it back to Richard, but firstly, I do want to thank everybody for your patience and perseverance. You've listened to us drone on for a lot of years about this project, and it's really exciting to really be able to represent in good faith that we're going to have a decision by December 19th out of the Energy Commission, and again, we expect to be moving dirt early next year. So thank you again. And